Hello, everyone. Good day. My name is Joy Guy, the World Green Building Council Asia Pacific Programs Head. Welcome again to our APN Festival, where we have a designated theme in each month to cover the key topics relating to our Asia Pacific network. So today we're actually in the fourth run of the APN Awards Finalist Showcase webinar. So far, we have already learned from the Business Leadership and Women Leadership Awards and also the Commercial Building Awards. So today we are continuing the award finalist showcase in the project category. And today's theme is residential building. So when we talk about residential building, it's actually very close to our heart, as this is the place we call it home. Home connects people together, nurture and embrace everyone. So building beautiful memories for everyone as well. So in the sustainability perspective, residential buildings are also connecting communities together and empower individuals for a greater vision. So today we have honored to have three finalist projects showcasing their project story and also their experience. So their three projects are the InnoCell by InnoCell from Hong Kong, South Beach Residence from Singapore, and also Heng Tongyun He Lanwan from China. All right, so in this way that we are honored to have our first project showcase by Miss Ivy Lee regarding the InnoCell project. Ivy, over to you.
Hi, good morning. Let me share my screen. Could you see the screen now?
Yes, you just put it in the full screen.
Okay, excellent.
Yes, you're good.
So good morning, everybody. Thank you, Joy. It's a pleasure to join this sharing section with the other panel members. I know today is the sharing section, so I'm going to be, bear with me, I may not be that formal. I'm trying to make it a bit less formal so that, make this more lively. So I'm going to show some videos and trying to give you a sense of what's the process of designing and developing this project. The project itself is called InnoCell. It is a project to provide accommodation for the Hong Kong and Science Technology Park. I'll go, this is the team. So our team members, myself, our company is Lean Orange the Architects, and then we have WSP and Arab as our engineers. Hip Hang Constructions was our main contractor. So let me maybe take you through, hang on. It doesn't move the slide. Hang on, just a second, I'm sorry. Could you see actually the slide's not moving, it's getting a bit stuck. The slide. Bear with me. Okay, maybe we stay. So, okay, I'm the managing director of a company, Lean Orange, which is an architectural practice originally established in 1874. So we are going to celebrate our 150th anniversary in 2 years' time. The company starts in, 1874, and so we have seen through the fall of Qing Dynasty and then 2 world wars, and then the handover and a lot of historic events. So in a way, we have witnessed the rapid urban development and transformation of the city, and here are some of the, I would say, some landmark projects throughout the time, and also some recent selected projects just to showcase. Our offices, head office in Hong Kong, and we also have offices in China, in Beijing, Shanghai, Fuzhou, and Shenzhen. We also have an office in the Middle East. The reason why I show this slide to you is indeed at the post-war period, Hong Kong, basically the housing environment is something like this. Since 1960, the government started to look into providing low-cost public housing, and there's a big scheme that we have. The company has taken place in this movement to start providing public housing in Hong Kong. So this is one of the very early projects in Hong Kong called Soul Oak Estate. And since then, of course, there's a full boom of housing, public housing in Hong Kong to cater for the public housing demand. So come back to InnoCell. The reason why I have mentioned about housing, living environment in the past, which is actually not that long time ago, and since then. Hong Kong, of course, has developed tremendously in a very fast pace. And we have, as you know, a rapid social development. And recent years, the government has really looking into improving or enhancing our public housing development. So InnoCell, in a way, was not initiated by, let's say, a public housing perspective, but it was a project by Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, and they are a quasi-government organization to foster innovations and technologies in Hong Kong. In the Hong Kong Science Park in Hong Kong, they didn't have any housing accommodation in the first place for many years. And up to a point that there was an intention that, we want to attract more young talents to Hong Kong, especially to Hong Kong Science Park. So that's why there was an initiative to have this project. The initial brief was to provide affordable accommodations for INT talents, to bring together like-minded people, to foster a new lifestyle called work, live, play, learn culture. But more than that, on top of the initial brief, we also aware that we have a socio-economic issue in Hong Kong about the lack of affordable housing to the general public. So we have, look at this, we have over 280,000 people actually living in the subdivided units. We're also facing a tremendous challenge in our construction industry in terms of lack of laborers. So it comes to a point that we know that we have to have a change of mindset. We urge for changes and innovations. So we looked at how very small unit accommodation can actually supplement by shared living space to foster readdress the sense of community, but at the same time to as an experiment to see whether we could use the approach to provide more affordable housing in a very dense city and with a short of land. So the project here, InnoCell, is actually within the Hong Kong Science Park at the new territory to the north of Hong Kong. You can see it here. It's basically the first accommodation block within the Science Park. To just give you a sense of the site context. At the left-hand side of the building is actually the whole Science Park development. And at the top of the mountain, that is the Chinese University of Hong Kong. The project is actually quite remote from the city center. That's why, in order to attract people to here, the project has to be quite unique and special. This is the building site context. give you a sense of how we're going to achieve and plan the site in order to maximize the site opportunity. I'm going to go through it in more details later on. It is indeed a very small plot, and the mission is to provide 500 bed space. And what I'm showing here is about a new or more innovative construction method called MIC, Modular Integrated Construction. And we want to maximize modulations in order to achieve a very efficient and a fast-track building construction method. Maybe I could take you through this later on. In a way, I have talked about how we are going to achieve this co-living and co-working environment, and as an experiment, it's more like a pilot scheme to test that approach in a building, a residential building like this. So the building, in a way, in the center of the building, they are all communal spaces, and surrounded by that will be the private living space. I could show you in the next slide. This will be clearer. So you could see that in the middle, in that triangular area, will be all the communal space. We try to test what is the optimum smallest living unit that you could still provide a good living environment, and then you could contribute the rest of the area into a common shared space. That means you will have, in a way, to have a much bigger living environment if we share. So this, you could see that we have a lot of flexible, multifunctional communal space. The ground level, we have a big setback from the road in order to achieve a better acoustic, at the same time to provide more green. We actually maximize the amount of green area that we can provide, and also we donate that green area to public use as well. One of the, for those who cannot come to Hong Kong yet, I'm showing you some of the photograph of this is the ground level, the green area. This is the ground floor lounge. As you can see, it's a lot of sunlight getting into it. The entrance lobby, we try to make it really transparent at the building envelope, and all these doors and window could be open. So during a lot of the months, indeed, the doors could be open and let the lateral ventilation into the entrance lobby. This is one of the lounge on the 15th floor. Again, you can see it's very well lit. We basically, most of the time, we don't need to switch on lights. This is a semi-outdoor space. So we're encouraging the residents to really enjoy. You could see that actually it's a very good view to the mountain. So this is, maybe I'll stop here a little bit. This is a living unit typology that we are trying to achieve using a single module that could satisfy different use. So this is the smallest unit called co-living space. It has its own living space, but the working area, they are shared among 8 units. You could see that this is the shared working space. Another type is called the standard unit. It's a 1-bed unit for a single person, which will have your own standalone bathroom and your sleeping area. This is a sleep box, which will accommodate 2 persons in the same room. And to have 2 modules linked together, we can be able to provide a family unit with a flexible furniture house up to 3 bedrooms. So maybe I'll stop here. I have mentioned about the modular integrated construction, which is somehow new in Hong Kong at that point. It was a pilot scheme. And so we have 2 things. One is we want to look at what will be an enhanced living environment, especially for younger generations. At the same time, we want to test a new construction method to achieve our housing needs, and at the same time to enhance the environmental, to reduce the environmental impacts due to construction. So what we're thinking about was that we have to develop a module that could streamline that, what we call MIC construction, within all this logistic and manufacturing challenges. But at the same time, we are not going to compromise the living environment and the quality of life inside your living unit. So we have done quite a lot of research and engagement in order to come up with this module, which basically is a module of 18 square meters area, and then it will develop into 4 different types of unit typology. You can see that the unit itself, they are all fully fitted modules manufactured in the factory, and they come to Hong Kong. These are the in situ part will basically very small. It's only the core space. And indeed, the triangular area can also be constructed by DFMA. So the in situ element is very, very small to reduce the on-site construction time. The assembly was very, very quick. Once we get the in situ construction start, the module actually start to assemble on site. All this, what we call communal area, they are centered at the heart of the building, and they're fully connected with staircases, so that the tenants, the residents, go through the whole building to enjoy all these communal spaces. And each of the floor, they have a different theme. So at the lower floor, they are basically more about working. They have more conference working spaces, more public. So you can see that there are lecture theater, they have whole working spaces. And then when you go up, we have more play area. We have a band room, and at the top, we have more private space like library, and we have terraces and bars. And also a lot of social gathering spaces and outdoor garden. So this is a video to show you about, how we would envisage the construction before actually the actual construction. So all this have been simulated in a computer to test the construction, the sequence, and to refine our design. The design was fully simulated in BIM, the building information modeling system. So we draw everything in it and test it and optimize the design. And the model has been very useful for the contractor to plan and streamline their process during the fabrication, manufacturing, and construction. And there's a lot of benefits coming from this new or more innovative construction method to reduce the environmental impact on site. So when it comes to the sustainable design, okay. So we designed it towards we're very cautious and very mindful to start the design to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals, particularly about the sustainable city communities, the innovations, industry and infrastructure, and as well as the climate actions. So we designed it and tested to try to achieve the reduction in energy consumption, when we designed it, the model actually told us that we will have a 25% reduction due to passive design and active system. But eventually, actually, the feedback was that we could achieve actually more reduction than we anticipated. Maybe then I could go through in more details. This is, a diagram showing us when we start to project, we try to tackle and attack every aspect in order to maximize the sustainable, where we could, do sustainable design in all fronts. This is about the passive design, building design. When we plan it, the orientation of the building, we have a very, despite, it's a very small site, India has a lot of restraints. I think all the architects know about, building in cities, actually very, very challenging. But we managed to look at the site and optimize it in order to achieve a good building that could maximize or optimize the natural ventilation, natural sunlight take into the building. This is, in the design process, we use the computation to design the facade, and in order to minimize the heat gain on the facade, and as well as at the same time to actually bring sunlight into the building to minimize the energy consumption in terms of lighting. So basically, most of the communal area, they will be lit by natural sunlight. And the living unit themselves, I think 97% of them actually fully enjoy natural sunlight as well. And that proved to be very successful in reducing the energy consumption in terms of lighting. This is about acoustic control. So, basically we need to do a lot of setback and to plan the building unit itself and choose the material in order to achieve a very good acoustic, indoor acoustic and air quality within the building. Natural ventilations, we particularly like to plan the ground floor level and also communal space to be able to enjoy natural ventilation. And you could see from some of these diagrams that the way that we orientate the building, the way that we put in the eco balconies to filter the air in, that proved to be very successful. This is about, I mentioned about to capture natural sunlight in the building, and at the same time, we try to avoid the impact to the neighborhood, not to affect their own daylight access to their buildings as well. Here you go. On the typical floor, I have mentioned that we try to minimize the in situ construction and maximize the modulations for the MIC construction. So 70% of a typical floor plate, they're actually built by MIC. They're fully modulated. And that helps the project in terms of quality and the construction time, and we then reduce wastage. So 90% of the on-site work actually moved to the factory. And remember, when we were building this, it was during COVID. The whole construction was actually during the COVID. A lot of other construction sites face a lot of challenges to have site work. And before our project, of course, we have challenge at the factory at the same time, but on-site, it kept to a very minimum amount of work on site, and that helps us greatly during the COVID period. And it proves that the data say, tell us that the construction time was reduced despite, it's during COVID, and the water and waste are largely reduced. and the noise quality and the air quality impact on site was very much improved due to this more innovative construction method, and carbon emission was reduced. We use a sea transportation for all this MIC unit, which helped in reducing carbon emissions in the transportation, and that was quite a large amount of reduction. We have roughly allocate about 3% of the development cost. I wish we could have more, but this 3% was very well spent, which proved to reduce embodied carbon, lower operational carbon, and create a sustainable lifestyle, as well as we could showcase net zero initiatives and share that with the community and the industry. I may take a few more minutes to take you through some of the smart construction. Maybe you'll be interested. The BIM, the model that we have generated during the design stage, again, proved to be very efficient for the contractor to look at their design and try to optimize both on-site and off-site construction, the detailing. And this is really, really important, is they could use that to train the laborers and the staff, which helps in terms of site safety, because this is a relatively new construction method in Hong Kong, and it's important that we train the laborers and all the construction personnel through this sort of more online and digital means to familiarize with the construction method. It's a lot of 3D drone during the construction stage to help us to understand and monitor the site progress and the conditions. This also shows that we use a GPS tracking system to help us to track all the individual units, both in the factory and also during the transportation. During COVID, we're supposed to go to the factory to have a lot of inspections. As you could understand, it became very difficult because of the limitation of transportation. So the contractor and also the building departments, as well as the project team, use this project to develop a new means of inspection and quality control methods, using an online platform to do all the inspection. And again, that proved to be, when we have challenge, we find means to resolve it, and then we come to, innovation. So I'm very pleased that the project was very, we faced a lot of challenges, but in the end, we're very pleased that we find ways, and that led to innovations. In terms of, I think this is about the technology that we apply for the facility management. So a lot of the FM system that actually run on an online platform, as you could see here, so that we could minimize the headcount and facilitate and get a lot of feedback, especially on safety and health and energy saving aspects. And that also applied to user experience, because we're using a lot of these smart applications, which again, I'm very pleased that we work with a lot of the incubators and startup company within the Science Park in order to develop new apps for the users. This is about the FM feedback telling us that the energy consumption was reduced by a large amount as compared to the baseline. We were very pleased to see that. One of the reasons is because of the active system, that we apply a lot of energy efficient active system. But more about is we change the behavior of the residents, so they like to enjoy, staying in the communal space, which we don't need a lot of energy because it's very, very fully lit by natural sunlight and is naturally ventilated. And instead of them everybody staying in the unit switching on the aircon, they now love to spend their time in the communal areas and switch off, the air conditioning and lighting. So that really helped the change of lifestyle by means of the planning of the building, contribute to the energy saving in a way. I think I'm going to finish the presentation with a video that shows you the realization of this
Welcome to
co-living
InnerCell, our
concept.
smart co-living and co-working community. Our vision is to provide great minds with great spaces that facilitate collaboration and comfortable environments in which you can live, work, play, and grow. At InnerCell, we offer a variety of living options, including the Power Hub, designed for teams looking to accelerate their growth and work together. The Solo, perfect for those looking for their own private sanctuary. The Twin, a space for friends and co-workers looking to double down with a roommate. And the Suite, ideal for family and friends who want to live the sweet life together. Our community can also enjoy InnerCell's dynamic work, social, and entertainment spaces. Get busy in our meeting rooms, at one of our many hot desks, in our multi-purpose function spaces, and our stepped lecture hall. Unwind and have some fun in our game zones, music room, party spaces, reading corner, as well as our lounges and outdoor areas. Relax and enjoy the greenery, indoor and outdoor social spaces, as well as fitness and lifestyle zones. Finally, our living essentials including smart vending machines, e-lockers, communal kitchens, and smart laundry service help make your stay that much better. InnerCell also boasts cutting-edge smart living facilities, including advanced keyless facial recognition access, as well as a fully integrated tenant app, providing you with efficient, exciting, and environmentally friendly living experience. Get inspired, share ideas, and co-create at InnerCell.
So to end this, I have to say we're very grateful for the client, Hong Kong Science Technology Park, giving us this opportunities, this challenge to build this pilot project. And we're also very grateful for the team, the contractors, the engineers, and everybody, the government who involved in the project, to give us the feedback from the industry. So this all could see as a good collaboration. The project itself is actually a very small, relatively small project, but we see that it is in the end, it become part of something bigger. We set out to provide accommodation to help attract young talents to the park, but along the way, we have our social events, and then we have COVID, and we reflected that we have to do actually more. So to use this pilot project as a kind of experiment to test for more innovations was very well embraced. We're very grateful for all the help and support from all fronts. So I'm very pleased to share this with you today. And this is just the beginning of a lot of changes in the direction that we want to have, more sustainable design coming to place, and not just for the building, and also for the community. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivy. I think hearing from the residential building, it actually helped us really imagine if you're living in that fancy place, how your beautiful life will become. I like the parts you end the notes. This not just for the building, but it's for the community. And that actually give a very strong message for us when we're doing a sustainable project together. So next, we have the honor to have the South Beach Residents Group to share about their project. Samantha, over to you.
Hi, thank you very much for the opportunity today to share more about South Beach residences. With me here, I have Casey. Okay, just a minute. Let me fix some parts of this.
It's not showing. Oh, okay, it's showing now.
Okay, and then
Sure.
okay. Is the video on? Can you see? Okay.
Not showing.
You need to change the notes. We're seeing your notes. Swap the screen.
Close the chat.
Right, you're good to go just now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are we good to go? Open. Okay.
Yes,
Are we all
good to go.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
all good.
Right. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present and share more about South Beach Residences Singapore. With me here, I have Casey from CDL, and I'm Samantha Tan from South Beach Consortium. Yeah. Hi. So without much ado, I'll just run through about the South Beach. Okay. South Beach is an integrated development. It is strategically located in the new downtown area of Marina Bay area. This is the new downtown that the government has been promoting and pushing development along this in this area. South Beach is located at the very busy junction of Beach Road, Nickel Highway, and Bras Basah, and it's actually a stone throw away from the CBD area, the main central business district, very near to the airport, about 10 to 15 minutes away. And within this area, the iconic Marina Bay Sands is actually just right in front in terms of the view, and the world famous F1 night circuit route is just next to the South Beach development itself. So the residences in this development literally is living just on the neighborhood of the F1 circuit route. They enjoy the busyness and the spectacular view of F1. Just across South Beach is the iconic War Memorial Hall, which is a conserved area. And the development is very conveniently located. It is linked directly to one interchange station and one MRT station. Within it is all covered and is weatherproof. Within this vicinity, there are also plenty of shopping centers like Raffles City and Suntec City. There are about 3,000 shops and restaurants around this area. South Beach itself is a very huge site, and the original site has 4 conservation buildings. The 2 towers are the brand new towers, and connecting the conservation project to the new towers is the climatic canopy. The development itself has 4 end users. First is the residences, which is above from level 22 all the way up to 41. There are 190 units of them, of the residences and penthouses. And below the residences is James Matthew Marriott. It has 635 rooms. At the other block is the office tower of slightly more than 500 square feet. It is a Grade A office building housing many MNC. The anchor tenant is Facebook. There are also other big MNC like the APN company located there. For the conservation project, they house the dining establishment, the function room, as well as a ballroom. The conservation projects are all well located just next to Beach Road, fronting that part of it. And then you can see that the new build is actually towards the inner side. In terms of the award, South Beach has won many awards. It has in 2019, it has won the Energy Efficient Building Award in the ASEAN Energy Awards. It has also, in the subsequent year, in 2020, has won the Best Mixed Use Development Award in Singapore at the Asia Pacific Property Awards. Just this year, South Beach has won the SGBC BCA Leadership in Sustainability under the category of Urban Renewal. Much of the South Beach development was based on the old army camp, and that is where all the four conservation buildings was retained, and it was actually the use. Maybe Casey, you were here when the construction was started. Maybe you want to tell us a bit more about that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Beach Road used to be really the beach back in the 1800s. So through the last 2 centuries, there has been reclamation and all that. So this picture you see is an old picture back in the 60s, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So right now the sea line is basically like 2 kilometers off. So you won't see the sea line as you see in the picture now. So the site is sitting on this old reclaimed land, which is the site of an old army camp, as I mentioned by Samantha. So part of the parameters and requirement is that the 4 old army camp buildings need to be conserved. So there are a lot of challenges, as you might know, conserving old building with its old structure and building 2 giant towers, 4 podium blocks over it. We really have to monitor the soil condition, things like that very carefully. A lot of strengthening structural survey need to be done to the old buildings. And many parts of the buildings were covered with fresh coat of paints, this new add-ons. There was a painstaking process of restoring them, removing the old finishes without destroying the underlying original finishes. So it was enjoyable, but at the same time, painful process in preserving the old campsite. But tying everything together, this is a project undertaken by the firm Foster and Partners as our key designer. So they have sensitively introduced a canopy that ties the old with the new. And the canopy also forms an environmental filter that is naturally ventilated, allow air to flow through. So when you're walking underneath, it's really comfortable to the human level, and you will feel a kind of cooling breeze passing by, even though we are in a very hot tropical climate. And it also allow natural light to come through. So we have plantings underneath, and we do not really need to turn on the lighting during the daytime under the canopy. So all these add to, in a way, very passive but energy-saving kind of features that has been inbuilt into the design from day one.
Yeah. So a lot of our sustainability features are actually built into the development during the design development stage. Yeah. Okay, I'll go on to the next slide. This is how we go into deeper detail as to how do we advance net zero in the era of climate changes. Now, the South Beach works very closely with CDL. CDL is one of our shareholders, and the CDL does palette a lot of the sustainability features and the initiative. Maybe you want to add something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So we are building based on our ethos since 1995. So we believe in conserving as we construct. And then over the years, we have been very careful in terms of building green, managing the building in an energy efficient manner, and engaging our end users to continue to operate and live green. So this is part of our three-pronged strategy. CDL have also signed up to quite a few commitments. Among them, the WGBC Working Building Council Net Zero Operational Carbon commitment. We are committing our assets, those that are new developments, and the 13 assets that we currently own and operate and are in direct control over to be net zero operational carbon by 2030. South Beach is one of our signature projects, okay, although it's a partnership, and although it was also built earlier as TOP 2015. Okay, so commencement was way in those days where net zero, climate change issues were not so much a buzzword, but we recognize
it wasn't so serious then.
Not serious, it was serious, but not so much the buzzword as all as it is today. And yet we decided to embark on very green and environmental design from day one. We were embarking on the land bid for this parcel of land.
Yeah, I think CDL has contributed and lead and drive this project towards the leading edge of sustainability, even back in 2007 when the consortium won the site.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go on to the next slide. Now, how does South Beach advance net zero? As Casey mentioned, it was a lot on the design phase. A lot of thought process was put into it, starting with choosing the right architect. Foster and Company was a key driver in this area, and they look at the building orientation as well as the shape of the building to look at how passive treatment in order to really capitalize on and optimize the sustainability features in this area. This is something that from day one, the development team was very, very conscious. Yeah. So the use of, for example, the efficient chiller, the ventilation, the system that was used to monitor the CO2 levels in the space, the ventilation within the car park itself, the kind of AHU that are used, the energy efficiency of the lift, the escalator, as well as to look at ventilation features within the block by creating sky gardens so that there is through ventilation, setting back the balcony and so forth. Yeah, this all help in the reducing the carbon print within the development. Anything else that we'll look at? Yeah. So South Beach Residences was recertified with the BCA Green Mark Platinum. And this is the first residential project that has undertaken such a recertification. You can see the technical, the marks that we have over there. And in the 8 years we have been operating, 8 years, South Beach has been looking at monitoring the carbon emission. We have been saving about more than 6,000 trees a month. So this is something that when we start off, because the intent and the purpose is to build a sustainability integrated development. When we start operation, there is benefit from there.
Yeah, just a bit to add on from what Samantha was mentioning. We got our Green Mark Platinum for 2 categories: the residential category and the commercial portion, i.e. the offices, the retail portion, and the hotel. So there are 2 separate certifications, and we were certified Green Mark Platinum back in 2012, and we carried it out to construction and fulfillment by 2015. So when on the residential part, normally in Singapore's case, once you obtain the Green Mark Platinum, you sold off the units. The residents, they will manage the building. They form their own management committee, MCST. They will manage it. So they are owning the property. So to get it recertified as a Green Mark Platinum, it's a first in Singapore. Normally, owners don't do that.
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
So it requires Samantha and team to really actively engage the homeowners and say, hey, look, it's a meaningful exercise. You're living in a green building and continue to make it green, get it recertified. So that's where the community engagement part of it came about.
Now this slide shows in terms of the saving of the carbon emissions that South Beach achieved is about 1.5 million per kg CO2 for 2020. And this was done in a series of the design, architecture design criteria and the thought process that is put in. So there are certain of those features that are more worthy of mentioning. There was a delicate study on how to reduce the weight of the structure, and a very detailed analysis of the daylight, the surface temperature, and how to bring the temperature down for a development so huge, and how to use daylight, how to use natural ventilation to cool public spaces, as well as within the residences, so that the use of energy or carbon can be reduced.
So as you can see in the section, so the passive design runs up not only horizontally through the canopy, but it runs up vertically up the building. And this section kind of is a very quick way of illustrating that sustainable design. We break up the building into different portions. The lower portion is the hotel, as mentioned by Samantha. The upper portion from level 21 onwards is where the 22 onwards is where the resi portion begins. So there are 3 sky gardens that line the building, and they also provide the green breathing space. One sky garden on the bottom, the lowest part belongs to the hotel. That's where the hotel pool is also located, and the other lounge area. The other sky gardens belong to the resi. And so in kind of semi-shaded, but very good cross-ventilated, as well as green and with plantings around, resident gets to enjoy the common facilities under weather protection. And they have fantastic view of the city around. as they do so.
Especially Marina Bay Stand, and that is really the selling point of the 190 units here.
So this section is cut through the east-west portion and is deliberately set back the roof terraces, balconies that set the main building facade away from the harsh sun. And so you can see, and then the series of sun shading that is essentially a continuation of the louvers from the canopy vertically up the facade. Basically create a kind of a first layer of shading against the harsh sun. Yeah. So people say it looks like a pregnant lady. My daughter say it looks like a milk carton. But either way, you see it, the anchor is on sustainable design. We need to move on.
Yeah, we'll move on quite quickly on the rest of our other slide. Now, the building itself has a climatic canopy, and on this canopy, we have put in the solar panels. This solar panel helps to generate electricity and supplement the main supply within the development. Last year, with Singapore government's drive for the EV, electrical vehicles, we have actually put in the EV charging points for our residences as well as visitors to the development. This helped to have, for the convenience of the residents, to have charging right at their doorstep.
Good. So just one slide back.
Okay.
So the solar panel, the energy that's produced on a yearly basis, how much is 209,894? It's basically enough to compensate for the electrical energy used by the lighting, external lighting for the entire canopy, as well as the facades. Yeah.
And there's quite a lot. We save quite a lot of the electricity bill there. Yeah. Now the canopy is the design and the concept of the canopy is basically like a wave, because South Beach when you from the earlier slide you can see we used to face the sea, but it has now through land reclamation it is now within the Marina Bay. So this 280-meter long canopy is designed so that number one, other than having solar panel within or on top of the canopy, it also collects rainwater, and through this rainwater harvesting, it harvests the landscape within the development. Yeah. The canopy also allows air to penetrate and goes into the dining area of the development, whereby we have a cafe and restaurant, and this allows the dining areas or the F&B establishment to have outdoor sitting areas, so saving electricity or air conning the common areas. Anything you want to add, Casey?
It protects from the rain as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are what do you call glass panel in between louvers and allow natural light to come in. So the plants are able to grow relatively well under the canopy as well. As you can see from the picture, this is a daytime view. No lighting is required. We do not have any lights on the underbelly of the canopy, except for special lighting during Christmas.
Decorative lights. Yeah.
For our event lighting for the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But on a typical day, you don't really need to turn on any light under.
Now this is the cross section of the Sky Garden, the planters, and the canopies that Casey has mentioned earlier on level 18, 22nd, and 32. So this one you can see very clearly how the plants help to bring in the green lungs into the development itself vertically. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add on, through the canopy, the rainwater collection, water gets stored in irrigation tank and gets pumped up to both towers. And then the water that is collected is enough to provide the irrigation needs of the entire development.
Yes.
Both the planting on the ground level as well as on the sky gardens.
I think when we started the development of this integrated development, South Beach, the vision is very important, and the vision then and still is now is that it should be a city in the garden, which is aligned to Singapore Garden City vision. So in fact, the development, because it aligns its vision to the country and in a way to sustainability, we are able to then deliver that whole process through, and up to today, it is still relevant. Yeah, maybe Casey, you want to bring through?
We touched on this earlier, our three-pronged strategy in terms of CDL, expanding from that, from the ethos of conserving as we construct. And so that in CDL as a company, one of the way that we build green and maintain green is to have robust policies. So we do have our EHS policy that we set up in 2003, requiring all our business units to continue to create that culture of building green, reducing pollution, as well as reducing wastages. Yeah. And we do have our green procurement guidelines that formulated in 2009. And as part of that guideline, we also have a green lease agreement. As of today, all of our tenants are signed up to a green kind of a green lease agreement. Yeah, and for South Beach, although it was built before the green lease agreement was formulated, they do have a green renovation guidelines whenever they have tenants that sign in.
Right, and I think South Beach has managed to secure one of the largest green loan at 1.22 billion just very recently. Okay, we go very quickly now. I'm aware that we only have 5 minutes left. Now, I will go very quickly on how South Beach managed to fulfill the principles of sustainability. The first principle or first two principles is health and well-being, and the climatic canopy as well as the ventilation strategy actually makes it such that it is passively cool the development. And this is very important because at whatever the period of time, it helps the development to save energy, without much maintenance, of course. And the vertical gardens and the planters and balconies are also passive ways that is designed during the design phase that helps the development a lot of this area. So is the 10,000 square meter of landscape all within the development, and the green axis, which actually is like the spine that runs from the Memorial Park all the way through, going through the entire development.
Yeah, so in a way, unwittingly, we have been doing or embarking on the kind of nature-based solution, design solution, even before this term was coined.
Yeah. So starting from the thought process has to start really from beginning, from day one. Now, the community, the communal spaces within the development is used by the residences for placemaking, for activities. This is to enhance activities so that the end user and residences of the development can come together. They interact with one another, and they use the space in a fun and interactive way. And this is also in line with our government concept of work, live, play, and lifelong learning.
Yeah. So this picture just encapsulates kind of imagery, and read history and our history and the context in the background. You can see in the background beyond the tree is where our war memorial park, that symbolic structure is.
And it's right on top of the MRT station. Yeah.
Very convenient.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Okay. So last year, the year before last, the residences in the residential building requested to have a heated swimming pool. So the pump that were used to heat up the pool is actually can be used in very low temperature environment, and this actually helps in the maintenance expenses of the heated pool, because heated pool is usually one of the most expensive item to maintain by most development. Okay. South Beach residences also they enjoy the places whereby they can go down and have social connectability, and we have swings, very simple things like swing and public area near to the restaurant and cafes, and they can just mix together. I mean, they mix around, they interact with one another. We have water features that is that has been licensed by the National Environment Agency, that is safe. So there are many areas, and these areas are all not aircon, as you can see from the picture next to it. It's underneath the canopy, and it's all open air. It is bright, it is airy, and is comfortable. Now we also encourage e-waste recycling. This is replace e-waste bin within the development, so that we encourage residents and also other user of the development to recycle. So this contribute to a more environmentally conscious development. Now, in order to advance with technology, we have 4 robots, 2 for cleaning, 2 for security, and 1 mobile device whereby they can that's for patrolling. They can actually go from point to point. We cut down head counts. We improve workplace safety, and we also save water, because the scrubbing device actually use 10 times less water through its water recycling filtration system. Now, resources and circularity. In terms of the bin, the waste bin, I think in its early design stage, I think Casey has put this in. You want to say something?
It's part of our standard offering for residential developments.
For CDL, yeah.
So we do have a twin chute system. When you throw the waste through the common chute down the shaft, there are 2 chutes. One is to throw non-recyclable waste. One is to throw recyclable waste, and this goes down to the basement compactors, get compacted, and there will be 2 collections. One for the normal kind of waste, and the other one for recyclables. So in this way, we want to encourage a kind of a recycling effort among residences as well.
Yeah. In terms of decoration, we also go on we try to use as much of recyclable material as possible. So in the Christmas decoration, this particular year that you see here, we use recyclable material from this is the business, and this is courtesy of CDL. We collected all this material, and then we recycle it as Christmas decoration. For this decoration, we actually won the largest Christmas decoration of a building using recycled material. So I think we have quickly brought you through the 5 principles that South Beach was very mindful of. First is city in nature, energy reset, sustainability, living, green economy, and the resilient future. This is aligned to Singapore Green Plan 2030, where our government has has actually set up very ambitious standard. But we have started actually way before the Green Plan was ever implemented. And because we were doing the right thing, the right path, I think we were doing the right thing because years after that, 8 years after we have obtained the TOP, we are still relevant. And today we see that there's a greater urgency to shift from linear to circular economy, and we are very grateful that we are on the right path of this zero waste master plan. And that brings us to the last slide. I think South Beach is not a new build. It is already 7-year-old because it TOP in 2015, and the design, development, and foundation works were carried out from 2007 onwards. So for a building that has been operating for the last 7 years, I think we didn't have, at those times, we don't have any sophisticated methods of construction, and in those days not that much offering or options of green material were available, and the consortium won the site from a two envelope system that the government called for tender. The first envelope is about we won the design criteria, and the second one was a competitive bid. So in we have a lot of challenges stacked against the consortium in terms of pricing, in terms of the site itself, the construction method. But I must say that despite all this odds and the challenges, South Beach still managed to maintain its leading edge as an exceptional green development, and the residences, I think, help us to achieve this as part of the integrated development to address current climate changes and the challenges.
Yeah, just a 20-second wrap up for me. We missed some of the latest technology methodology in the recent years. We could not have implemented because they weren't around back then. But I think we are also actively engaging authorities to make South Beach a bit more green, okay, as we move forward towards a net zero path. So we are in talks with Building Construction Authority, BCA, to help us in a challenge call to move towards super low energy rating based on the current green mark certification process, which is a higher benchmark. We got platinum now, based on older standard, but we would like to move towards super low energy if possible.
Yeah. So the method is basically I would say old-fashioned method, whereby we start from design and then we continue the in the active management, and then we try to plan for the future and still be as green as possible within the whatever that we do next. Yeah. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much, and I'd like to thank Casey for his time here with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Samantha. I think one thing I just wanted to add in for this section view, sometimes it looks like pregnant lady or something, but from the personal view, it looks like one side of the wing. So it's like what South Beach helped you create. Let's say both of them actually are two wings, right? So it's actually one takeoff and give everyone the opportunity to swing or to fly to anywhere they dream of. So this is also one of the key moments for this industry to take off and also to excel from then. So I hope this gives you the new version of how this meaning of the shape is like. Thank you.
Thank you very
Right.
much. Right, thank you.
Right. So next, we have honored to have one more project, 恒通运河蓝湾. So this is the project also being the finalist and also is based in China. Right. So over to you.
Okay, hello everyone. Hi Joy. I'm very glad to see you guys, and it's a great honor for our project 恒通运河蓝湾 to have the place on the finalist on APN Awards of Residential Building. So first of all, please allow me to introduce our team members. Mr. Li Zong, could you turn on your camera, please, Li Zong? Okay, so the members attending this meeting, we are from Hengtong Group, which is the developer of this project. And Mr. Li Xiaojing is the manager of Green Building Center, and I am Yang Yue, engaged in the green building technology consulting with our colleagues. And now let's start the project showcase. It includes two parts. First of all, there is a video we would like to share with you. The video will take about 5 minutes to introduce the project, and it has a Chinese dubbing, but it has an English subtitle. So here we go.
扬州，一座古代文化与现代文明交相辉映的运河名城。恒通集团，中国房地产500强企业，科技地产领跑者。恒通蓝湾系，一部撰写恒通集团科技地产传奇的传世之作。广陵新城，科技馆南，绿色大宅，恒通运河蓝湾。2500年的扬州城，运河文化传颂千年。广陵新城，一个现代都市水城，都市型产业集聚中心，未来城市的 CBD。运河蓝湾，雄居广陵新城行政中轴板块，科技馆南，人民路与建民路交汇处西南角，坐拥城市东西主干道文昌路。尊享广陵南北中轴线6维交通，辐射全城，20分钟驰骋长三角，独享江淮生态大走廊，7河8岛生态城市氧吧资源，周边市政配套环伺。运河蓝湾由绿色建筑和建筑节能及大成者，恒通集团匠心铸造。以成熟的科技地产开发理念，打造扬州高端精品科技人居力作。17至22层高端住区，1.5万平米大围合式立体景观布局，超大楼间距，体现无与伦比的尊贵感。新亚洲风格南北入口，彰显社区品质与东方传统韵味。互动口袋花园，感受来自生活的融融暖意。1000米专业环形跑道与园区美景相映成趣。全石材干挂珍品建筑，高标准豪华入户大堂，100至170平米全奢明户型，全封闭独立阳台，空间通透明亮，打造宽居人居典范。双系统地缘热泵全热交换新风系统，为您带来冬暖夏凉的恒温恒氧空间，100%全人车分流系统， 24小时热水，同层排水系统，隔音降噪系统。恒通物业的温馨、放心、贴心的高标准物业服务，让您尊享5星级健康美好生活。恒通集团历经高端人居洗礼，成功开发方店、地景蓝湾、蓝湾国际、华鼎新城等城市高端项目。恒通冬季筑梦广陵，传承运河千年文脉，续写蓝湾一路经典，与广陵新城城市中轴铸造绿色科技豪宅，实现更高人居梦想。蓝湾之上，广陵腾飞。品鉴热线89790666。
Okay, thank you for watching. And next, we have a presentation to introduce further information of this project. The report includes 5 parts, which are project overview and highlights, key technology description, climate action advancing net zero, health and well-being, resources, and circularity. Okay, the first part is the project overview and highlights. 恒通运河蓝湾 is in Yangzhou City, Jiangsu Province, China. It's located in the center of Yangtze River Delta, 260 kilometers from Shanghai and 100 kilometers from Nanjing. It has 14 high-rise residential buildings, including 806 households, with a total building area of 138,900 square meters. 138,900 square meters. In year 2020, the project won the Guangsha Award, the Excellence Award of Planning and Architecture Design, and the Excellence Award of Industrial Technology Application. In May 2021, the project obtained the certification of Chinese 3-star Green Building Operation label. The main highlights of the project are passive technology priority and active technology optimization. The project comprehensively applied a series of green building technologies, including indoor air quality monitoring, water quality monitoring, ground source heat pump system, rainwater recycling system, and so on, to meet the sustainable design concept. The second part is key technology description. In the aspect of building envelope energy saving design, the roof and exterior walls of the building are made of thermal insulation materials. The outer windows are made of heat-broken aluminum alloy window frames and hollow glass. And the south, east, and west outer windows have adjustable shading. The energy saving rate reaches 65% and the building energy consumption is reduced. In the aspect of air conditioning system design, the project uses 4 ground source heat pump units to supply cooling, heating, and hot water to each household. And the energy efficiency level of the units reaches grade 1. In addition, automatic control system is adopted according to the change of air conditioning load. The project adopts central ventilation system equipped with 4 heat fresh air exchanger with heat recovery and PM 2.5 filter functions, providing 24 hours of fresh air, which can provide good indoor air quality and protect residents' health. Also, the 100% effective heat recovery can reduce the energy loss. The lighting system adopts energy-saving lamps, and the elevator hall, corridor, and stairwell lighting system adopt indication control, while underground garage adopts the intelligent lighting system. In the rainwater recovery system is set up in the project after water quality treatment. It is used for greening, irrigation, and road pouring. The utilization rate of non-traditional water source reaches 10.14%, and the irrigation system adopts micro sprinkler irrigation and soil moisture sensing devices to save water consumption. The third part is climate action, advancing net zero. The project follows the design concept of low carbon environmental protection and sustainable development. It adopts energy saving envelope, efficient equipment, and the full application of renewable energy to reduce carbon emissions in the whole life cycle of the building and create a friendly and livable environment for residents. The total life cycle carbon emission of the project is 122,309 tons, among which the carbon emission in the production and transportation stage of building materials accounts for 33%, and the construction and demolition stage accounts for 3%, and operation stage accounts for 63%. The average annual carbon emission is 2,446 tons, and the carbon emission per unit building area is 17.61 kilograms, which is 40% lower than that of conventional residential building in China. The average carbon emission per household is 3,035 kilograms, which is lower than 95% of Chinese residential building and has reached the leading level in China. In the building material stage, the carbon emission of materials is reduced through reasonable and lightweight structure. Also, the selection of building materials and high recycling efficiency and selection of nature building materials and local materials make the consumption ratio of reusable materials and recyclable materials reaches 6.33%. In the operation stage, the ground source heat pump air conditioner system is adopted. The cooling and heat ratio of the air conditioning is provided by renewable energy to reduce carbon emissions. The fourth part is health and well-being. The project site is designed to separate people and vehicles, and there are no vehicles on the ground. Both indoor and outdoor sites are designed according to barrier-free design requirements and set up fitness and recreation venues to create a friendly environment for the whole age. In addition, an elegant and pleasant landscape is created outdoors with a green land rate of 31%, effectively reducing the heat island effect in the community, and a variety of outdoor activity venues are set up to encourage residents to actively participate in fitness activities and improve their health. The fifth part is resource and circularity. This project integrates green energy system and ecological technology into the construction scheme design, including the use of high-performance building envelope, efficient ground source heat pump units, adjustable shading, water-saving equipment, and rainwater utilization technology with excellent economic, environmental, and social benefits. Local building materials are preferred to be purchased to effectively reduce the transportation energy consumption and cost of materials. In addition, this project purchased waste building materials such as autoclaves aerated fly ash blocks and recycle the waste in the construction process to reduce the waste of resources and promote the development of local building materials and construction waste recycling industry. During the operation period, different types of garbage sorting facilities are set up, and residents can get goods and necessities by participating in garbage sorting, and so as to encourage residents to develop a good habit. And in last year, this project won the honorary title of Urban and Rural Household Waste Classification and Governance Work Excellent Community, which is the conductive for promoting the sustainable development of the local waste classification industry. Okay, thank you for listening. This is my presentation.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a very structured way of this. So with this ending notes, let me bring everyone back so we can have a little dialogue about this new category. So if you're dialing in Zoom or if you're in YouTube, feel free to key in your questions if there's any. So before that, I just wanted to check with you. So first of all, because every project is very unique and you have your own unique audience and your occupants as well. So I just wanted to hear from each of you, what do you see as the general needs from the audience? Maybe let's start from Ivy.
I could share with that is the project we just share very different from the other two projects, very exciting and absolutely stunning projects. In our project, it's about affordable, particularly in Hong Kong, to provide affordable housing to the general public, especially to the younger generation, is very key. So I think one, affordable. And second thing that we will learn from this project is the flexibility to allow the residents to explore their own individual lifestyle, but at the same time, be able to enjoy that community life. So that sort of flexibility and open opportunities, we think is very important. We also get feedback from the occupants that they are really focused on health, a healthy lifestyle, wellness, and as well as environmental friendly and low carbon living style. So they're actually very aware, not just we as designers and clients in a whole. I think the general public have that sort of urge for it. So health especially important. Finally, I think the resilience, one of the panel member also mentioned about resilience. I think in the coming future, to design our residential buildings to cater for resilience, again, very, very important. So finally is we need to think about the resources is very limited, and we want to make the best use of it. So we have to think, what are we willing to share as individual, every individual, we have luxurious housing, of course, have lots of luxury housing in the market. But on the other hand, we will also want to maintain affordable living for the sustainability for the city or as a whole. So how willing we are going to sacrifice and share, but maintain a good standard of living quality. That's something we as a whole, especially us architects, have to explore. So thank you.
Wow, that's a lot of wish lists actually we can put in, and we can see that home is no longer a shelter, but it's a place to nurture everyone. So affordability, being flexible, and take care of health and well-being. Bring the resilience in terms of the climate resilience and also resource resilience. I think these are the very key aspects that we see the residential building need to cater for. So how about Casey and Samantha?
Well, I think in Singapore, it shows that the home buyers are looking for a few things. One is the smart home, especially for smart cooling system, because in Singapore, we enjoy the being in the air conditioned environment very much because of the heat and the humidity here. And number two, because a lot of the residential development are high rise, the feedback is that they will appreciate highly insulated windows and doors, so that would cut down the noise level, because then the traffic noise will be lessened, especially say when they want to, they will encourage good sleeping habits, less noise, and then they can darken the room. The other point is a very much bread and butter issue. They are looking at solar panels so that to help them have don't have to pay such high the electricity. So that is the top three items in the wish list of residences. From our residences within South Beach here, the wish list is other than these three is to have more social programming and more of this activities whereby they can come together and socialize with each other. There is another one more that we keep hearing it, and it comes up again and again, and that is urban farming, whereby this is also aligned to our government drive to have our own herbs and vegetables. That is other drive. Yeah. So altogether, these are the 5 top key reasons that again and again we keep hearing that feedback.
Wow. Okay. And I can see that with this feedback, our design and of the way we manage our residential building will be catering towards the need of those residents, right? Being smart and finding the home being peaceful without noise pollution, and putting in these new technologies like renewable energy and things, and bring the social community together and to really enhance the living quality that we mentioned. Wow, that's great, right? Let's now also hear from, I see Li Zong, right? Right. So, yeah, so what is your opinion and also your view about what is the residents' need at this era?
So our colleague, Mr. Liu, will give a talk. Okay.
Okay. In our previous work, we have done a lot of POE research on residential communities. POE means post-occupancy evaluation. We use questionnaires like home visits to find and summarize the needs and the problems of the residents. We found that different from the past, the current residents pay more and more attention to the quality of the whole community, not just independent household. Issues raised frequently by residents mainly focus on residential environment, comfort, health, wisdom, and convenience of the whole community. So we think that the main needs of residents in especially in high quality housing are as follows. The first, I think, is the microclimate of the community, including the outdoor landscape greening, the sunshine and ventilation, the fitness and communication places like this. The second, I think, is health, including the indoor thermal comfort, the air quality, the environmental protection level of the decoration materials. The third aspect is convenience, including traffic streamline, the parking problems, and the surrounding supporting facilities. The last, I think, is the ability of property management. In addition to the traditional property management content, it also includes the comprehensive management of rainwater recycling facilities, the central air AC systems, and the smart equipments, and the renewable energy systems like this. At the same time, I think to answer the second question about the most important point to the future, I think that these technical measurements and management practices must be directly felt by residents in a reasonable way. I think this is the most important. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Great. So I think there's some overlap. So definitely this is true because as human being living in the environment, when we see the society progress, is no longer the basic needs of shelter, a place to live, or also being that convenience, accessibility to the traffic. But more and more we can see people demand bigger things like health, well-being, greater environment beyond my household, how we can actually interact with the society, and what is the bigger environment look like. So in this way, although we see our residents getting a little bit more demanding, but at the same time, we can see this is eventually the progress of how the society is evolving and developing. So that's why this leads to the future, right? So I think Zhao Zong has already mentioned about the future. How does the future look like in our future residential environment? So what we're creating is now for the future generation, and generations after generation, they will have new needs and they have new wish lists. Is our current design and residents are able to capture these needs, or how the future development should look like? Because in 2 years, when we're running another round of APN Awards, we really hope to see more and more these new features and new things are showcasing in our new projects as well. So just wanted to also bring back to Ivy and also Samantha, what do you envision as the future of the residence should look like?
You mean I myself think because probably the city, the highest percentage will be residential building. And when we from now on build every new building, we want it not to be a burden on the city, but to provide a positive impact on the general environment, particularly to the community. So I hope we could have more collaboration between residents, between buildings, in order to generate, on one hand, generate more renewable energy. On the other hand, when we share, we could cut down the consumption. So we will look at it in more, I think one of the panel members just talked about, we look at it in a more holistic way, not just building by building, but as how all this residential buildings and residents can contribute to the future. Yeah.
Wow. So this is from what residential building addressing the needs to everyone being responsible to this greater environment. So that's really a beautiful point. How about Casey and Samantha?
Well, I think with COVID, the residences are beginning to realize that work from home is really a reality, and home is a place whereby it can be defined as a workplace as well. And we will see this trend of working from home growing more and more. And hence, as it is, already we see residences allocating a portion of their home, be it in the spare bedroom, or is it part of the living room, or is it the balcony for working at home. That is the first point. The second point is that the government here in Singapore is trying to build around 20 minutes. Each one of us should be about 20 to 25 minutes away from the SMRT station. That means connectability. And if such, with the decentralization of the country, it means that you don't have to travel across the island to go to another place. So it will be everything should be connected and within an easy reach of 20 minutes. So be it your childcare center, your supermarket, when you walk, your school, it all should be connected, and buildings would be connected to one another so that you can get from one block to another block, all well sheltered. So physical connectivity, more green lungs, more plants and flowers, so that it gives you a more serene and quite a place that you can really chill and zone up, because mental wellness is getting more important as well. I see this trend, and then there's another trend right now is in Singapore is this is a sustainability trend whereby what we want to travel from point A to point either by walking or by cycling. So we are going car light. Yeah. So we can envision the place, say a area or location that maybe no cars in that area, and you can walk around, within a certain radius, or within the certain maybe the 3 km or 5 km, and you don't have to drive. So using less car, using EV, using or just be able to, cutting down on public transport carbon emissions. Yeah, this is where I see the future of the residential, the building, and buildings in general.
Yeah, and then to add to that, I think the younger generation, climate change, sustainability, living in a space that is green, continues to be green, be increasingly a big trend especially in our younger generation. So our buildings of the future, especially residential buildings, need to cater increasingly for that need. Also, in a way, an existential challenge for us. If we don't build green, can't be done anymore that way.
Definitely. So we can see that. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
The COP27 is ongoing, and you see a UN chief giving his a very stark challenge and call. We either perish or we either survive. No two ways about it.
Yeah, that we don't have a choice, but must move forward. So we can see that when we're envisioning smart city, work, live, play, and also like having a future city, residential building actually plays a very major part, because we're starting to have longer time in our home, and we started to have more of those live elements embedded in our home as well. So we can see that those projects actually creating a stepping stone towards the future of residential building. And surely all your developments will start to evolve when you have the future development, and also when you revamp this current project as well. So we hope these 3 projects give you a sense of how a residential project with outstanding sustainability criteria is like, and definitely these 3 projects will be attending our award ceremony on the 23rd of November in Bali, Indonesia. It's a beautiful resort, and we will live stream this award ceremony. So looking forward to seeing that who will be the winner, but no matter who is, these 3 projects are already the best example we have in this community. So really hope to see more and more of this project coming in to showcase that a lot of things can be done, and there are more things that can be developed as well. So in this way, I really wanted to thank all 3 of the projects and also the team, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Indonesia and Bali. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.